We all running in the same race. Ain't nobody winning. We only here for a minute, yeah. So everybody slow down. Your life is beautiful. Let's all take a moment now. Let's just try to breathe it in. Let's go get some feelings out. Let's try to remember what it felt like to be young and free. Yeah, those days are gone, but there'll be better ones ahead, you'll see. And it's been on my mind, it's been on my mind. It takes up all my time, oh yeah, all my time. And we've been searching for some things that we may never find. But in the end, yeah, I know it's our love. We all running in the same race. Ain't nobody winning. We only here for a minute, yeah. So everybody slow down. We all headed to the same place, so we better get to living. We only here for a minute, so everybody slow down. I see mountains in the distance, yeah, they're calling me. Open river, water far away from everything. I think about getting away every day. And it's been on my mind, it's been on my mind. It takes up all my time, oh yeah, all my time. And we've been searching for some things that we may never find. But in the end, yeah, I know it's our love. We all running in the same race. Ain't nobody winning. We only here for a minute, so everybody slow down. We all headed to the same place, so we better get to living. We only here for a minute, so everybody slow down. Slow down, slow
Friday, my friend.
Thank God it's Friday.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Where everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your head.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
It's Friday, my dudes.
It is Friday, my dudes, and a TGIF. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the IRONWORX, streaming live on the ironrealmmedia YouTube channel. And I do believe we are on Rumble. I do believe. Well, good morning, fellas. Happy Friday.
Howdy.
Oh, good. good. I was just making sure you all still hear me. Poor Walter was trying to get in the call this morning thinking his audio was all jacked up because he'd say hello and then nobody would respond. Turns out I was responding the whole effing time. It was just my audio that was messed up, so Walt couldn't hear me.
But I do now, so we fixed it. Or it fixed itself, I guess, technically.
Something.
They finally unmuted you.
Right. Thank you, handlers. So speaking of everybody running the same race. Well, first of all, Angelo prepaid about a mile, so he ain't slowing down for shit. And then I remember saying on Wednesday that Warren Buffett was stepping down from Berkshire Hathaway. And just how that seemed to be a little odd. I mean, of course, he's going to have to step down at some point. It's not, in and of itself, not necessarily odd, but for me, it just seemed like the signaling of something larger for Warren Buffett.
I figured he'd be there till the day he died.
Uh-huh.
You know.
And again, I don't think that it's necessarily, in and of itself, anything. That said, Bill Gates is going to be giving away his entire fortune and shutting down his entire Bill Gates Foundation. In completely unrelated news. Says he doesn't want people to be able to say that he died rich. So over the next 20 years, he's going to give the whole fucking kit and caboodle away, he says. And we'll shut down
337-29.
Right. I mean,
so are we going to see Bill sitting on the side of the road asking for change here in 20 years? Is that what he's saying?
He's saying he's going to define rich however the fuck he wants to define rich. And as long as people don't say that...
you can't when you're a billionaire.
Right. Sitting on the side of the road, people still use roads. I'm Bill Gates. Where I'm going, I don't need
Got a new
roads.
pope.
Did we?
First American pope, north from the United States.
You know, you say that. I think I do remember hearing some cheers on the radio. Thinking, are they screwing with the audio, or did maybe they choose a pope? But I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he's from Chicagoland area.
Oh,
With
good.
that name, no, he's definitely got folks from down here in my part of the world.
What's his name? Rubidoux?
Boudreaux, Thibodeau. Let's find out again.
Robert Francis Prevost. Prevost. Yeah. Leo the 14th.
And he's going to be a Leo?
That's folks from down here.
Is that what it is?
Yep. Leo. He must be a fan of the movie Inception or something. I don't know. Leo.
He was inspired by the Hieronymus Bosch book he saw sitting around on the coffee table there at the Vatican. That's a hell of a gift for a pope. I'm going to be Pope Leo.
Spent years retweeting criticism of Trump policies.
Oh.
I guess they are saying MAGA melts down over new Pope's anti-Trump, pro-immigrant social media, says the Rolling Stone.
Because he, what is it called? Retweeted something?
Yeah.
Cool story.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
You're not re-Xing something now?
Did you guys see any of the pictures? Of course, I don't know if any of them are real, but they showed like the last few days of the old Pope. He was being wheeled around in the chair and whatnot, and there was this dark figure in like a black cloak everywhere he went. And it looked like beyond Sith Lord Master type of black robe. This was like a huge black robe. Let me see if I can find it. Again, I said I don't know if it's real. You know how the internet is nowadays.
Maybe it was just death. Stalking him. Watching. Patiently waiting. I know this dude's going to kick the bucket and I can drag his ass back down to hell where he came from.
So his ancestry, which is traced to a historic enclave of Afro-Caribbean culture, links Leo, the whatever number there, to the rich and sometimes overlooked black Catholic experience in America. So that's Creole. That's New Orleans, for sure.
Ah, the often overlooked rich black experience of America. I mean, there's no
Black
doubt.
Catholic. Now let's be accurate with our labels.
Nobody gives a shit about you rich black Protestants.
I don't like my little floater thing no more. It don't go anywhere I want it to be. Sorry, I'm trying to find a place to put this thing that's not in the way of something else.
I don't even have a floater.
Yeah, I don't know how it started happening. I didn't have one, and then suddenly I did, and it's just in the way now.
Maybe if I minimize this. Oh, there it is. Hi, floater. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
No, you won't. You won't like it. You won't like it.
All right, that's good.
No, I can't find it. All right, now.
Got to minimize. Close your window. That should pop up the window.
No, he's looking for the demon that was following the Pope around.
That. Good old death, waiting to drag him back down to hell.
Mm-hmm. Back to hell.
Sorry. Sorry. Damn.
Well, Mike, that's because you're not a black, rich Catholic. If you were a black, rich Catholic, then I would care. And it wouldn't be rude. Because it'd just make you a better human being all around. Because that's what it takes. But I see you there, Mike. I see all you fine
Do you
folks.
guys,
Go ahead, Zack.
Do you guys have people breaking into vape shops in your area?
Not
Zack,
that I'm aware of.
I live in at least what was for many years held the title of the county in the United States that produced the most methamphetamines. I promise you we have people breaking into vape shops. Yeah, we were the meth capital of the world for a while.
Quite a bit. Another one was broken into somewhere here in upstate South Carolina. Just ramming a door or their car into the fucking, I doubt it was their car, but ramming a car right in through the glass window and then going in and just ransacking the place. People are insane. I don't
Are they
get it.
after a particular thing or just to get money?
Vape pen.
What are they?
Propylene glycol. They love that propylene glycol.
Oh,
But yeah, because cannabis really isn't legal here. But I hear there are different shops that like have it in the back. And if you get to know the owner, yeah. But if you don't get to know the owner, then they don't even offer it to you to sell it to you. So people get pissed off. That's my guess on what's going on. Or people underage. Or people that are broke. I don't know. It's wild, though. I don't think I've ever seen a homeless person around here. Maybe in Spartanburg. Maybe, but now when we went to Raleigh, you know, that's a little bit bigger of a place. I had seen homeless people out there, but you don't see a lot of homeless people walking around here. I don't know if meth is all that bad around here or not. I'm not sure. I have no clue. But come on, leave the vape shops alone, people. They get enough shit from the federal government and all that stuff. Yeah, there's one state, I forget which one it was, saying that no type of hemp product, you know, because they make a chemical Delta 8, and then they make that illegal, so they make Delta 9, and so on and so forth. Well, I forget what state it was. Just cracked down and said, nope, no type of hemp anything for smoking devices. So you can get the hemp oil stuff, the little drops, or the hemp capsules, but you can't get it for smoking vape pens. I don't understand why. And
here's the thing I don't understand. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Idaho, the state of Idaho, no longer is allowing fluoride in their water statewide. That was a big one I heard.
Is that the same one I dropped? Utah becomes first U.S. state to ban fluoride in public drinking water.
Right. Utah, not Idaho.
I was checking because I was like, that don't seem like the area I remember seeing the story say. So I was checking. Sorry, not.
Yeah, I was one state north.
You were there. You were close. Here's my question about the whole like hemp products or Delta 12s or whatever. So it doesn't matter what laws you pass. If there's unscrupulous business dudes in your area that are allowed to own businesses repeatedly, like multi-businesses, not just one, not just two, but a fucking slew of them, just a ton of them, 7, 12, whatever. I'm not saying they're all from a particular part of the world. I'm just saying they are from a particular part of the world. And these people open these stores and constantly are being in trouble for having products available that they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is ask, and they got it in the back room. And everybody in town knows that. And if everybody in town knows that, then most likely the police know that, and the, you know, people who are supposed to be overdoing or whatever. So that means it's allowed to go on by somebody in power, period. End of story. Now, same thing goes for any fucking thing. It doesn't matter what laws you pass, what regulations you put in place, whatever. If someone's an idiot fuck who decides that spraying bug spray on a cigarette and smoking is going to fuck themselves up, then they're going to try that, you know? You can't regulate people's minds or their addictions or their fucking idiot ideas. They're going to try to alter their consciousness. When you have people in a state of madness most of their day trying to figure out how to pay bills and live and not be on the street, then they're going to work on trying to figure out a way to escape any way they can. So that's the system they have in place. They have all these businesses that are fucking people over left and right, doing all these illegal things, and it's allowed to go on. And those people who decide that rather than going to the doctor, I don't have insurance, or going to the street dealer to get alleged pain medication that winds up being laced with fentanyl or some other thing that kills them or whatever. People are going to do that. They're going to do it. They're going to do it because that's what's happened for my whole life that I've heard and talked and know and met and hanged out, know the people, and this is going to happen. So then when a substance is widely touted as a solution to addiction and a solution to pain and a solution to mental states of anguish and depression, and it's really a helpful product that's been used for thousands of years. Not a couple 10 in the back room at the local gas station, but for thousands of years, given to children in Southeast Asia who have diarrhea or whatever. They're given this plant-based leaf-dried substance to help them because it's a fucking medicine that's been handed down. It's a tree, their family tree that's growing in their fucking homestead. That's a family tree that they've had for hundreds of years. It's been given for thousands of years. But no, instead of regulating it, putting programs in place to understand it better and help people with it and all that, no, what we should do, I think, across the board is criminalize people who need that. Criminalize people so that then creates a black market for people to create adulterated products instead of real Mitragia speciosa. Instead of real kratom, you're going to get adulterated street vendoring people who are going to not care about anybody's health and not care about anybody's safety and not care about anybody's fucking life at all. Go Louisiana. Sorry, Walt ran over.
Money, 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 money. Yeah, that sucks, dude. How about other states? Do other states, have they banned kratom?
No, not other ones. Other states have put in programs in place right next door in Mississippi, the state where Mike McCurdy, is coincidentally originally from, who did the original work on this plant at Ole Miss, who then moved to Florida State because he was getting a lot of good old hometown bullshit people. Oh, it's heroin or whatever, people who were uninformed and idiot fucks. He got out of there and started doing research in Florida. And if you talk to him about it, he will tell you, yes, there is all kind of good stuff it can do, and yes, there's all kind of bad stuff it can do. Thus, the regulations and the fucking, people who know about it and learn about it and help others with it and advocate for it. Not, well, I guess I got to go see Joe Powder again because he's the only person I know of that I can get this thing I need to live from. So, yeah, that's a safe environment. Awesome. Thank you again, Louisiana senators. All right, Walt ran over. Yeah, it's frustrating. We've been advocating on this place. I've sent my testimony. I called. I did everything I could short of going, but people did go, including those doctors I mentioned and many other people who came from all manner of, addiction programs and pain management clinics and just all kind of people explaining that this is what it is and not what you heard from some dude that went to a gas station and got some shit out of the back room, again, like we were talking about earlier. Now, the fact that he had 18 other chemicals in his body when his incident occurred, that, it probably had nothing to do with it. It was definitely this kratom is what did it. Anyway, all right, rant over. Let's move on. It's almost break time by now.
So it looks like Pennsylvania approves recreational marijuana. Late Wednesday afternoon gave final approval to a bill to legalize recreational marijuana in the state of Pennsylvania.
Good for them.
So go Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Big virtual internet hug out there to Regina, who's had just a shit day at work, which I can sure appreciate. So,
well, big hug then. I didn't even see that yet. I'm just trying to play catch up and haven't read a lot of messages. My apologies for not seeing that. Definitely sending big hugs.
this title of this article. Physicists create groundbreaking atomic clock that's off by less than 1 second every 100 million years. Bullshit.
Well, we just took it, divided by 100 million. I saw what the deviation was. So I started multiplying. And turns out it's going to take 100 million years for this to deviate by 1 second. Because I just took 1 second and I divided it by 100 million. And that's what the deviation was. It was amazing. Like how many milliseconds? Microseconds? 100 million. That's pretty quick.
Yeah. How many microseconds in a second? 1 million. So less than a microsecond a year, allegedly. But to be fair...
And so did he measure that over a year, or did he just look at it? Like, okay, that's 1 microsecond over a year. You divide that by 12. Did he study it for a month? Maybe you divide it by 4 again. Maybe he only studied it for a week? Like, how long did he look and say, oh, yep, that's how long that deviation is? Or did he study it for, like, I don't know, 20 million years? Like, oh, shit. That's like a fifth of a second.
When they throw out these numbers like that, I can't do anything but laugh at it.
Well, good on him and his clock.
Wow. Jet-powered U.S. spy drone now strikes from 200 miles. With mini bombs and surgical precision. Great. That's the one thing that to always keep advancing. You notice that? Like, at least here in the U.S., people are getting more unhealthy. They're getting, overweight. We're getting dumber. But the military gets better and better and better at killing people all the time. That's the one thing that always advances forward, it seems. I mean, we went to the moon in 1969 with, a computer that's less powerful than a 1980s Game Boy. But we can't get there right now. But we kill people better. We definitely kill people better than we did back then.
Hard to do. Sorry. Painful.
Space is hard. Oh, man.
Oh, shit.
So we're going back. I've heard. Oh, sorry.
Where are we going?
I don't know. Where we going? There was one.
Who's on first?
China hit the moon with a laser. Daytime. Bounced back. First time. Stunned scientists. Ignites a global space race. It has been ignited.
One of these days, we're going to get a
real
fucking satellite up there.
Right? Here's how I know it happened and how it's real. Because I get an illustration of a precision laser being fired from Earth to a satellite orbiting the moon during daylight. Now, this is AI-generated, non-realistic illustration here, is what it says in parenthesis underneath. Said AI-generated, non-realistic illustration. But the nutshell of it all, they successfully fired a precision laser, not one of those just willy-nilly lasers, 80,000 miles to bounce it off a satellite orbiting the moon during daylight. Well, isn't that then hitting a satellite during the daytime, not the fucking moon? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, let me stop sharing. I know it's time to break. How do I stop sharing this? Here we go. I do it.
I just saw, Michelle Obama's decided to start a transition.
Big Mike! What happened?
Well, because she's transitioning now,
Little
she's
Mike
in
fell
therapy.
out. I mean,
Yep, she whipped out little Mike. No, apparently her and Barack are getting a divorce. So she's in therapy. For her transition.
Did you hear her talking about the... Oh, sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No, that was it. That's how she refers it. Now that she's leaving Barack Obama, she's calling it her transition. Yep. What it says. Oh.
I heard Big Mike say, as a black man, she was talking about the transgender issue. And she was like, as a black man, I yada, 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 yada. That was going around. I don't know how old it was or where it was from. I know she's been talking a lot lately. She started a podcast.
Oh, shit.
And
we got
the bot army is so prevalent. Like there's, 500 comments in there. But each one of them is like, this is the best podcast ever. It has nothing to do with,
topic,
Michelle Obama, anything that was said. Just, best podcast ever. Everyone needs to see this podcast. That's what all the comments were.
This is the best insert subject podcast ever.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. This is just a nice little...
Where's all those songs I dropped last week? They're gone now. This thing don't keep nothing.
I didn't see any songs in there. I checked. I looked.
It's
beyond the two that
like everything past Wednesday morning is gone. And then even the stuff dropped during Wednesday's show is not in the IRONWORX chat that I can see. Man.
It's weird, wild stuff.
Fucking Microsoft.
And I had something good, and I don't remember what it was, so I'll have to go back and find it. You go right ahead, though. Don't wait on me.
In place of something good, we'll play this. Don't you guys go anywhere. We've got the second half of the first half of the IRONWORX coming up. I think. There it is.
Your bones and drive your young mind crazy. But when you place your head between my collar and jaw, I don't know much, but there's no weight at all. And I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. 'Cause if I say I miss you, I know that you won't. But I miss you in the mornings when I see the sun. Something in the orange tells me we're not done. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. trembles when you try to speak. Take me back to us dancing this wood used to creep. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? I'm poisoning myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. Just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? I poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. If you leave today, I'll just stare at the way the orange touches all things around. The grass, trees, and dew, how I just hate you. Please turn those headlights around. Please turn those headlights around.
Ding, ding, ding. Good morning. Ding, ding, ding. Ba, 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 bow, bow, ba, 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 bow. Good morning. Ba, bow, bow, ba, 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 bow. Good morning. Ba, bow, bow, ba, 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 bow. Beautiful day. Ba, 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 bow. It's a beautiful day. Ding, ding, ding. Wake up!
Hi, this is Alan. I like IRONWORX because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love IRONWORX with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that IRONWORX with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the IRONWORX.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Ironrealmmedia is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Lettuce from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The IRONWORX with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the IRONWORX and become an Iron Scout.
And welcome back to the second half of the first half of the IRONWORX, kicking off now. Yep.
So the astronomers are starting to freak out, right? Allegedly.
Why not?
They're saying that the Hubble constant, right, the rate at which the universe is expanding, might be happening faster than previously expected.
Nah. Doesn't that mean time's accelerating?
Yeah, but they can't.
Aren't time and space inextricably linked? What does that do to time? I mean, according to their model. According to somebody that thinks that's how the universe works. The Hubble constant must also have some relation to time, doesn't it? Must it not?
Oh, yeah, because that's how they measure everything out there, and light years and all that kind of nonsense.
Well, the fabric of space-time, that's what's expanding, no? Isn't that time? Isn't that how we measure time? Right? It's all the same shit. Fabric of space-time. Seems to me
so
that.
Shouldn't we leave like yesterday if we ever want to try to get to one of these places? I mean, it's farther away tomorrow than it was today. So what are we doing? Why are we just waiting here?
Right. The only way you're going to reach it is to leave the day before you need to.
Yeah. 70 kilometers per second. Per megaparsec, whatever that means. That seems like, just speculating here, but faster than we can move.
Faster than you can...
Like 70 kilometers per second.
Do the Kessel Run.
So how do you plan on catching another galaxy going and living there and blah, 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 expanding through the universe if you can't even catch the galaxy because it's moving away from you so quickly? Is this whole idea of... And then they go on to say, well, we know because the star dimmed. So if the star dimmed, that means it moved further away. So now, throughout hundreds of years of observations, you know, I mean, the pole star dimmed out at one point so much that it wasn't even visible for a few decades. And then started brightening back up again. There's all kinds of stars that have been doing this. They start dimming out, and then all of a sudden they start getting brighter. Does that mean the star's getting closer again? Yes. It was further away, but now it's getting closer.
That's what that whole song's about. You didn't know. The hell, you just now learning this, Zach? That whole song is about the expanding fabric of space-time throughout the universe. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Damn.
It's just crazy when you think about it that way. Like, okay, in your model, it's, you know, expanding at this rate, but we can't even come close to moving at that rate. So what's the point of talking about going to these other places? You can't even catch it. It's like running after a cheetah for your meal. Good luck. These scientists. Man, I watched this video yesterday. It was just a short. This silverback gorilla just walking through the jungle, right? Came up on these people that were out there going through the jungle. And he was passing this one guy that like was standing up real tall, and he just stopped right next to the guy and just tilted his head a little bit, and the tour guide was like, down, get down. And then finally he like bent his head down and kneeled down, and then the gorilla just started walking away. And the caption was, I thought this guy was a goner. I couldn't even imagine having an animal that big to you. And it was like a foot and a half away from him. I mean, it walked right by him. It wasn't like 10 feet away or something like that. It was, all it had to do was reach out, and it would have grabbed him, no problem.
So here's that goofy question I guess I'll pose to you guys that's been posed around the internet. Who do you think would win, a silverback gorilla or 100 men?
Wait, what?
In a fight, who do you think would win?
Do I get a gun?
No, but you get 99 buddies to come help you.
I would think the 100 men.
Uh-huh.
I mean, some of them are going to die.
Right. You can just totally eradicate. Like the Marine Corps infantry, the first 75 of them, right? But you just use them to wear the gorilla out. Those last 25, if you send them in through waves, like if you figure gorillas like 10 to 15 times stronger than a man, then you just send them in waves of 20. And probably by the fourth or fifth wave, that final wave, that silverback gorilla is going to be so worn out and depleted and probably injured, because I'm sure it's going to take something, 15 guys trying to kill it, right? It's not going to go through unscathed. So by the fourth or fifth wave, there's no way that silverback gorilla survives another 20 guys trying to kill it. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, some of those guys are dead, though, for sure.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it's going to get wore out. Now, if it's like 100 guys, one-on-one at a time, you know.
Even then, like, you think he's got the stamina?
That's going to be tired.
Right, you think by man 80, dude's still swinging like he was when he was fighting human number one? Or he just does like Hulk and grabs the first guy by the legs and uses him as a weapon. Says
Yeah, just swing them around.
I'm just a big human club now.
So here in South Carolina, they're trying to pass a bill that would ban addition of fluoride to drinking water. What the fuck is wrong with these people? A bill filed at the South Carolina State House would do the same. So, okay, they're trying to do what Utah did. But the way they worded it, it's like would ban addition of fluoride to drinking water. So they're trying to ban fluoride here in South Carolina. I thought like addition it meant more fluoride. Like we're going to put this much in, but we would like to put even more in, and this bill is going to stop it. But no, they're looking to try to ban it. We have fluorosililic acid delivered to our water treatment plant, blah, blah, blah. There's got to be better ways to do it, though, without using toxic waste to kill bacteria and whatnot.
Define better. Better for whom?
Well, better for the people consuming it.
Well, the water companies and the people putting in the fluoride don't give two shits about the people consuming it, I don't think. Yeah.
No, I don't think they do either.
At least not the people in charge. I'm sure there are people that work for the water company that are committed to providing quality drinking water to the public. They just think that adding fluoride is part of it.
Yeah, that helps. Right?
It's good for your teeth.
But now it's undeniable that fluoride in the drinking water is linked to lower IQs. See these schools they're starting? They started one down in Texas. Children get 2 hours of reading, writing, arithmetic in the morning, taught to them by AI. All right, there is no one teacher for 30 kids. Each child has their own teacher and their own, they learn as fast as they can learn. So if you're really good at something, you don't have to sit around and wait for the teacher to teach all the other children how to do it. You move on to the next thing. And then after those 2 hours, they have like 4 hours of learning a life trade. They do like mock businesses and mock this or that, or learning how to speak it publicly, and these children's SAT scores are like over 250 points higher on average than the national average. So they're opening them. They've been trying this in Texas for the last couple years, and now they're going to start putting them all over the country. But the downside to all this is, the whole school has about 30 to 40 kids in it. When you're dealing with 1,200 kids, things get a little different then.
Well, you just need another AI program to coordinate and organize the students. And then maybe another AI program that's going to organize and coordinate the AI programs that are coordinating the students and coordinating the AI teachers and coordinating the administration. That way you've got some of an overarching AI that's going to be able to handle all of it. And then maybe another one for every school district. That way everybody's running the same set of rules, the same set of syllabides. I don't know how you'd pluralize the form of syllabus, but yeah, I think that's a great idea. We'll just hand over the education of our kids to the AI overlords. What's the worst that could happen?
Syllabus?
Exactly.
That's
like mice or mices, right? So syllabuses would be syllabuses.
I mean, 30 years ago, I would say this is insane, right? But you look at some of these teachers now, dudes wearing makeup and dresses, or green hair and tattoos all over their bodies and face piercings. I don't know who I'd rather have teaching my children. AI or that.
Not for nothing. I'm kind of okay
be
with
fair.
AI teaching students. For 2 hours a day,
Yeah,
you devote
I'd
it to an
almost-
AI teacher. I'm kind of
2 hours.
okay with that. Especially in sort of a basic grammar elementary school type setting where you're getting the basics down and we can track and keep track and make sure that all the students are up to at least a certain point before we progress them on to the next stage. And we'll bring them all up at their own speed, but they all get up to this point regardless. Everybody gets intelligence. And we're not just going to push them through to the next grade or through graduation or into the workforce.
See, the thing that sucks is there are good teachers out there, you know, that do care and have been doing it for, you know, a long time and are good at their jobs. See, I think teachers should be some of the highest paid people, in my opinion. That's an important job. It really is. And we need people, dude, some of the teachers that you see out there, it's like, how did you get a job to teach children? I mean, they're 10 years, 20 years ago, they would have considered to have a mental disability. And now you have them teaching children. That's just insanity to me. And I think the state of New York is banning cell phones. I see that being talked about in chat. K through 12. No cell phones allowed in the state of New York for public education. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to... I'm glad I don't have to make all these decisions and choices.
That just seems kind of weird. Like, here we're going to teach you to work on cars, but we're banning all these fuel-injected shit. We're going to have strict lessons. You just can't learn about fuel injection. We got to keep that technology out of your hands because it's just a little too advanced. We're a little worried you might not fully understand carburation. So, nope, none of that tech. Sorry, kids, you don't get to have a phone. Ever. Because you have to learn the math. Because you're not going to be able to just have a calculator with you at all times. I mean, you can and you will. But we got to pretend like you won't.
Ooh, polar bear attack. Baffin Island. The skier was injured, but all right.
Oh, I thought it might have been them fuckers that was jet washing him and blow drying him. Oh, y'all haven't seen that video going through?
I don't think so.
Yeah, where there's dudes and they've got like a big arm hanging over a polar bear and it drops like what looks like car wash suds on it and they scrub it down and then it drops a different color. But you know, you want the rainbow colored foam like you get at the car wash. And then it finally, at the end, it's got a big blow drying. Because, you know, AI is not a thing. Anyway, polar bear, sorry.
This was 100% not the bear's fault, as it was obviously not a predatory attack. The bear was most likely protecting cubs or startled, sad ending to a preventable situation.
So sad and protective is okay, but hungry is not. Hungry is just predatory.
Yeah. It's an apex predator. It's always in predatory mode. Oh, yeah, they were in an Arctic National Park. Yeah, people are all mad.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Because they shot the polar bear. Andrew B.
Good morning, Andrew.
What's going on, man?
I wasn't going to join in, but I heard everyone talking about education, which I happen to be working in, and I happen to have a little bit of insight in regards to what you guys are talking about right now. When it comes to cell phones and the internet and basic comprehension of things. So I know the break is coming up here very soon. I know Walt hates when I do that, but I don't have enough time to go into it at the moment. But I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little bit of a a little bit of a tickle.
Well, real quick,
Just
Andrew,
say
I'd like to hear your thoughts on I'd like to hear your thoughts on AI being a teacher for,
awful.
K through 12.
Awful.
Not a fan?
Nope. Not even close. I
do like the idea of the children learning at their own pace, not having to wait around for other children to get it.
All right.
I think that's great.
So, for the next 3 minutes, I will go off on a little bit of a rant. The smartest people in history, in my opinion, did not have computers or calculators. Nikola Tesla is an example. Calculators didn't exist back then. So, they didn't need AI. They had to do all of this long type of multiplication and division and calculus by hand. It took them a very, very long time. Nowadays, they're not even trying. They can just cheat. And I've tested this on the quizzes and the exams, and I have a very perfect example of this.
But you're not looking at it right, though, Andrew. They're using the AI as a teaching tool, right?
No, they're using it to cheat.
Well, right now,
No.
They're using it in the school system.
Is actually using, that there's a school in Texas. They're building like 12 of them now around the country that uses AI as the teacher of the class, not to help the student, but to teach the student reading, writing, arithmetic. Does it for about 2 hours a day, and then they go into like more hands-on type of stuff after that.
Yep, I don't like that.
And the results they're getting are insane, like 250 point higher SATs on average.
I don't like it. That's just making
No,
teachers lazy.
I understand that completely. I do. But then you look at some of the teachers that are out there teaching these classes, and they seem more interested in pronouns and bullshit like that than actually reading, writing, arithmetic.
AI is starting to use that, though. Is it?
No.
And that's the beauty of the AI is you get to, well, it's one of the dangers. You got to watch out who it is that's programming these models into the AI. But as long as you can make an effort to try to keep it objective, and I guess that'll work. We can continue this conversation on the other side because we have hit the break.
Yes, sir. I have a lot to say on this topic.
So don't you guys go anywhere. We've still got another hour of the Ironworks coming up right after this. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
So many lives marching in time, move to the beat of the old.
to our long-distance dedication. And this one is about kids and pets and a situation that we can all understand, whether we have kids or pets or neither. It's from a man in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's what he writes. Dear Casey, this may seem to be a strange dedication request, but I'm quite sincere, and it'll mean a lot if you play it. Recently, there was a death in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles, but he was most certainly a part of... Let's start again. From coming out of the record. Play the record, okay? Please. See, when you come out of those up-tempo goddamn numbers, man, it's impossible to make those transitions, and then you got to go into somebody dying. You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for, but goddamn it, if we can't come out of a slow record, I don't understand it. Is Don on the phone? Okay, I want a goddamn concerted effort to come out of a record that isn't a fucking up-tempo record every time I do a goddamn death dedication. Now, make it, and I also want to know what happened to the pictures I was supposed to see this week. This is last goddamn time. I want somebody to use his fucking brain to not come out of a goddamn record that is, that's up-tempo, and I gotta talk about a fucking dog dying. Boy, this is fucking ponderous, man. Ponderous, fucking ponderous.
Fucking thing sucks!
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard,
And welcome back to the first half of the second half of the Ironworks. We are streaming live on YouTube and on Rumble. Just give ironrealmmedia a search and you, I don't know, maybe you'll find us. Who knows? Hard to say.
That's a cool song.
That was a cool song. I liked it.
Yeah, Tremonti's solo project. He wrote that in 2020 as his daughter was born with Down syndrome into a world of people just following along with whatever they were told to do. That's the gist of what that song is about, him telling his daughter, don't let this cold world change you.
Liked it.
So, gentlemen,
I figured about the third. Go ahead.
I'm not going to take up too much time, I promise. But the education aspect of what's happening nowadays is really disturbing to me. Because last night I was going over some fairly complex types of circuits and showing how these things work. And I told them, you can pull out your cell phone, go onto your calculator, scientific calculator, and use that. And I think there was 2 students that were participating using their calculator. I was showing them the calculations on the board. And aside from that, if I were to ask them, like, who is like the most famous celebrity nowadays, they could probably just like tell me, which is really pathetic.
Tell you all the Kardashians' names, yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And if I were to like say, hey, by the way, everyone, I have to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. And I come back in like 3 minutes later after taking a piss, and they're all on their cell phones. But when I say pull out your calculator, because we're going to be doing something that's actually applicable to what you're going to be doing as a career, people are dumbfounded. And some of them have associate's degrees, and some of them have bachelor's degrees already. And I'm just like, what in the flying fuck is happening? Like, I'm showing you these things that you don't know anything about, but yet, when it comes to the useful part of your cell phone, like the tool aspect, people are looking at me like a deer in the headlights. Calculator? Huh? What the fuck is happening? I mean, I almost
There's a
don't want to
calculator?
teach. Yeah, a calculator, a fucking scientific calculator on their cell phone. Every cell phone has one. So, this was yesterday, last night. So, I mean, if you guys want to see what I was showing, I mean, it'll probably confuse a lot of people, but yeah, I'm not trying to say anyone's stupid, but I'm just saying that these are complex circuits. And yeah, these are the students in my class, like in person. So this is the level of education that I try to instill into my classes, where I hold my students to a higher level of accountability. But a lot of other teachers don't give a shit. They're just there for like
What's
this
the
really, really
pass-fail
low
rate?
paycheck. Huh?
What's the pass-fail rate for that subject you teach?
They have to have at least a 70% to pass. Anything below that, they go on academic probation.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, when I was getting
High
my
school was
bachelor's
like
degree,
60%.
it was an 80%.
You had to have 60.
Say again?
In high school, you had to have, at least where I came from, northern Indiana, you had to have 60%, or else you were held back.
Oh yeah, 59%. 59.9%
Yeah.
would be considered a failure. Yeah. Ours
My,
is 69.9% is considered. They'll still pass the course, but they'll get put on academic probation.
See, I had a really cool teacher who, she taught the hardest class in the school. It was British literature. And it's, not the hardest subject, of course. There was physics and calculus and all that kind of stuff, but she made it the hardest class on purpose.
Good.
And yeah, my buddy had a 39%.
What?
Not a dumb,
That's like not even trying at all.
No, not a dumb guy. He was trying. He just, it was hard. But she still passed him with the passing grade. He ended up with a 60% D minus.
I know why that happens.
It wasn't just a waste. But she did that because she knew he was trying. If people didn't try in her class, well, most people, she wouldn't even allow to take the class. Like, you could sign up for it, but there's only so many spots.
I don't think that's why that happens. It's because if the teachers all teachers get reviewed based upon student grades and attendance, and then that goes into the teachers' their record. Oh, you're not passing very many students. Everyone's failing in your class. That's how it works.
You're not very good at that. Yeah, I could see that too. But yeah, if you tried, and she did fail a couple people in the class, but if you tried and put forth an effort, she'd give you a D. D minus, whatever. She bet me that I couldn't get an A in the class, and I ended up with an 89.6 or something like that, and she would not give me the A.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little messed up. You should have just asked for some extra credit or something.
Well, she wouldn't know. I bet her a steak dinner. Not that we ever went on the dinner or anything, but I was like, I'll bet you a steak dinner I can get an A in your class. Yeah, she made me try. I really tried in her class.
I'm going to say this about my classes. I make them extraordinarily difficult on purpose, but I also offer unlimited extra credit, and I give everyone, even though I'm only supposed to give 1 day to do the quizzes and the exams, the weekly exams and tests. I give them 5 days to do it until Sunday at midnight, when the next, because Monday, that's when the next class starts. And people are still complaining about how they can't get it done. Like, well, tough luck. Fuck off. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm a little harsh.
Instead of watching the Kardashians tonight, study.
Yeah, well, I'm like, yeah, get off your cell phone. Do what you're supposed to be fucking doing. Yeah, and I've had a lot of complaints against me about that, but at the same time, I don't care. I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes to the grading system, yeah, we have the 70%. So it's not the 60%. So it's a little bit more strict. Anything below 70% is considered academic probation, and if you do that twice in a row, they will. Those students will get called out of class and monitored by someone else at the school. I don't know how that part works, but it's really unfortunate that a lot of people nowadays, if you go into a school, pretty much any school, everyone is going to be on their cell phone. This is a very sad fact of reality that's happening right now. And
how are you supposed to teach somebody with a cell phone in their hand?
I was trying to teach them with a cell phone, and they wouldn't pull it out. That's what I was trying to bring up earlier.
If they have access to a cell phone and you're supposed to try to keep their attention and to get them to learn, but they can just pull their phone out anytime they want, look at it, fuck that. That's bullshit. Teachers should be revolting.
Well, I'm actually
you want me to teach your child, yet you want them to have their cell phone in their hand and, looking at whatever they want, the last Call of Duty their favorite streamer played or whatever. No, I'm not going to compete with your students' attention with that. They come here to learn. They need to come here and, show up and pay attention. If that means putting their cell phone in their locker for the day, then that's what that means.
Well, I can actually do that. I can actually enforce it. I've never done it, but I did ask the administration if I could, and they said, absolutely, yes, you can. So I told the students that, and once in a while I will remind them of it, and then it sort of like kind of wises them up for about 10 minutes.
I was just going to ask you how long that worked.
Yeah, about like 10 minutes. I mean, it's like, it doesn't last long. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, okay, here's something really sad that I experienced 2 days ago. I was at the grocery store, and I was just there buying like basic shit, and there was this, he might have been 6 years old, maybe 7 at most. And his dad was right in front of him. His dad wasn't paying any attention to him. His dad was on his cell phone the entire time. And all of a sudden, this kid, as soon as he stopped walking, pulls out a fucking smartphone. I was like, whoa! And this kid, like, he's like fingers and thumb situation, like one-handing this thing. I was like, what the fuck? And as soon as he has to walk again, he like all of a sudden he pays attention, looks at his dad, and his dad does the same thing. And I was like, wow, social, oh my God, what is happening to society? And I was gonna pull out my cell phone and start recording it, but I was like, nah, I can't do that. I'm just gonna tell the story. I don't do that shit. Like I usually I leave my cell phone in my pocket and just have my earbuds in, like listening to like ironrealmmedia or something.
Remember when we were kids when TV was going to destroy our lives? I'm just saying. Dude, look, if TV is the opiate of the masses, then cell phones must be the fentanyl patch.
Oh yeah, it's worse than fentanyl. This is like fentanyl
it's
with
beyond
fentanyl.
ridiculous. Well, I still remember I was managing arcades right at the end of the last little bit of time when you could actually go to a mall and step up to a cabinet and play a video game and it not give you tickets. And don't get me wrong, we had half the store devoted to the tickets, but we actually had video games. And as I
You mean there was a joystick in the place?
Yeah, there were many joysticks.
There was not one joystick. I took Jaron and his buddy. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was looking around for a joystick. Everything was a gun or a this or a that or a steering wheel. Not one joystick. The only one was for the crane. And no, it didn't have a joystick. It had arrows that you push.
What about games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat?
No, those are gone, dude. Those are
gone?
You got to go to an ancient place to get that.
It was the end of Namco anyway. I don't know about the other arcades that might have been around, but Namco was holding on into the early 2000s. I was out of there in like 2003, so they were still around at that point. But anyway, they're not now. Anyway, as I watched I would get there early, get things ready, cleaning up, getting machines, whatever, tokens filled, all the stuff I needed to do, and I would see the mall walkers, which were the older people who would come and walk the mall. Not just up and down the mall. They would like to follow the wall of each side and go to each little turn in, and they were getting a lot of walking done indoors, and I got it. They were staying out of the weather and nice and air conditioned, but getting some exercise in. And over the time, and I started at Namco probably around 98, 99, something like that. And as I watched, these little antennas began to pop up next to their heads. And don't get me wrong, cell phones were around, quote unquote, but they were things that were kept in your glove compartment for emergencies if you were broke down on the side of the road. Or even like my dad and them had the bag phone in their car and that kind of shit. So it was a technology that was around, but it had not become handheld, daily, never put it down until the beginning of the 2000s as I began to watch the antennas sprout out of these people's skulls. And I knew a guy. He would come to the arcade and offer to hook me up with a phone if I hooked him up with tokens and da-da-da-da. I didn't want one. I had no need. There was nothing in my life that I couldn't tell somebody to their face, call them on a phone with a number that was memorized in my head, and talk to them about it later when I had time to sit and enjoy a conversation. Nothing was so important that I had to yammer up and down a mall the whole time I'm walking, not talking to the person next to me, but talking on this phone to somebody about, at that point, absolutely nothing. Nothing important. Not somebody's in the hospital, not, somebody passed away. Nothing important, just banal, little, just what are you rambling on about? Put that fucking thing down. And let alone looking into the radiation that was being put out by these early versions of these phones. This is pre-Flip, pre-Nokia. These are like Motorola yellow hard plastic. I mean, these things are ancient compared to what people are walking around with now. But as I began to watch them taking over the mall, I was just like, this can't really be where we're headed, can it? Well,
it's
here we are
that
now.
way.
Here we are now, 20 years later.
Well, my question for you in regards to the same thing you're just talking about is, well, actually everyone else, do you remember your home address and also your home phone number, your landline, for where you live?
Absolutely.
And also your best friend, as an example.
Absolutely. I can remember my girlfriend's phone number. I can tell you her address. I'm not going to because, but I can if you really want me to send it to you.
No, I'm not.
I'm messing with you, man. I'm messing with you. But yeah. And I can still, I got a job, coincidentally enough, after the arcade when there was really not much happening in 2003, and a friend of mine was working at a place called Singular. They were the company that came about after Bell South Mobility changed their name to a new name because they were screwing people over so bad they finally had to just change their fucking name to get out of the fucking crap they were in. So they changed it to Singular. And I began to work for this company called Singular, and I would sit and listen to people call me all day long going, hey, I figured I forgot all my phone numbers and I can't get into my phone, so I can't call anybody. And I would think, oh my God, why is your brain not working? Why are you not, like, what is wrong with your brain that you don't remember every number you've ever known like I do currently? Because at that point, guess what? I didn't have a cell phone. Still working there, still didn't have a cell phone. It was only once they put me on the cancel team where I would get people every call who were trying to cancel, because we were slowly but surely integrating into AT&T's cell service and taking their crappy service and dealing with their crap. Anyway, as we get all these people calling to cancel, I would do my best to keep them canceling. And I was pretty good at it. I was pretty good at customer service. And so I would get all these little awards and little gift cards to whatever restaurant or gas station or whatever. And then it got really crazy and really people really canceling and us really pushing it, me really kicking it. And they finally went, hey, here's a cell phone. And I'm like, oh, really? All right, if you're going to give me a free account with a free phone, and first one's always free, buddy. Just come back later.
Like an Obama phone? Did you get one of those?
Oh, no, this was like a nice Nokia early type at the bottom, nice click, click, click buttons. I could tell you the number almost, N1 something, something. Anyway, but yeah. And then the next one I got was the Motorola's Razor phone. The first one that was black colored, not silver or gold. It was the first black matte flip Motorola black Razor. I loved it. It was awesome. They had me heart and soul at that point. Because everybody would go, oh, look at that phone when I pull it out.
I had a Razor. That was the only phone I couldn't break.
Yeah, I wound up getting it to Mom when she went to Oregon. She had it. She used it till it just literally just stopped working completely out of like the network. It wouldn't. The network couldn't pick it up any longer. That's how long she used it.
I still have mine in my closet. It has a dent in it.
We'll say it's probably worth money.
Yeah, I got that in like 1998 or 1999, something like that. Maybe 2000, I forget. But yeah, it was the only phone that I could not break. Not that I try to break phones, but they usually break on me. I finally figured out, hey, maybe I should get one of those phone cases. Because it was usually dropping them and cracking the screen that way. This case has actually done pretty good. Yeah, I break everything though.
Speaking of breaks,
don't feel bad. We're right there. Yeah.
How'd you like that? That's a segue right there. We are at the final break, and we gonna take it. So don't you guys go anywhere, because we will be back for the fourth and final segment of the IRONWORX. Coming up right after this. It's a good song. I'm not too sure about the artist, though. It's got a questionable name. Maybe we'll get into it on the other side. This is the IRONWORX.
Took my first breath where the muddy rises, spills into the Gulf of Mexico, where the skyline's colored by chemical plants that put bread on the table of the working man, where the working man does his best to provide safety and shelter for kids and a wife, giving a little of his soul every day, making overtime to keep the wolves away. Well, I was barely 13 when the company man tried to dig my daddy's grave. It happened on a French-owned tanker ship, spilling poison into Galveston Bay. Well, the liquid fire filled his lungs and his eyes silenced any more cries. Cold in the grave, death stinging pain, he fought like hell to keep the wolves away. Sick as a dog, but he made a recovery just to spite the odds. The settlement came and we moved out of town, where the sky is heavy with refinery clouds. Yeah, he's still alive, he's doing good, he's in his 50s, but the money's running out and he's pinching for pennies. So I'm going for broke with every song I play, 'cause now it's my turn to keep the wolves away.
Hi, this is Alan. I like IRONWORX because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love IRONWORX with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that IRONWORX with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the IRONWORX.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the IRONWORX with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the IRONWORX and become an Iron Scout.
And welcome back. Fourth and final. Kicking off right now.
Yeah, Ona. Yeah. Good luck with that.
At 4 a.m. or even 5 a.m. for her right now.
You could barely get her in here at 10 or whatever, right?
No, much love to Liz,
the day
though.
she was still awake over there hanging out with Cami at 5 in the morning. Was that Wednesday? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even then, we didn't get a Liz appearance. So
we got her in the comments.
Give her a big hug. We do. Give her a big hug, Zack. Speaking of big hugs, Zack, big hugs to you and to Mom. Everybody give lots of love to Zack. Zack's mom's in the hospital currently, going through a rough spot. So send lots of healing love her way and lots of healing love his way.
Thank you, Walter.
No problem, brother. Thank you, Shlom. I am good. I'm definitely on the mend and definitely better, and my meds are really balanced out. In fact, I was last night as I was getting ready to go to bed and realizing I had, like, it was coming up on my right before I go to bed dose. My eye looked normal, like my eye hardly droops anymore. I can hardly tell that it's an issue. The cross-eyed part does happen still every now and again as I approach the next dosage time, but as long as I remember and keep it going, it definitely is keeping me balanced and out of the hospital. So thank you for that as well. You guys rock. And anyone in the chat, anyone in the call who's listening, anyone who hears this later, definitely lots of love and prayers and healing to you and yours. And don't forget, coming up Sunday, it is Mother's Day. I get that it was a fake holiday created by a greeting card company. Every day it should be Mother's Day, but unfortunately life gets in the way and we forget. So make those calls, send those cards, make sure that hug gets to the right place, because she definitely has done way more than you can imagine.
Yep. Yeah, every day I am appreciative to still have my ma around. That is for sure.
Yeah, it is a blessing. And yesterday we went to see Michelle's mother, who's currently in the hospital. And I was just kind of zoned off, grabbed my book bag, picked up my black pad and a gel pen and went to town just doodling and drawing while her and the sister and, dealing with what the doctor said and what they're going to do about this and do about that. And so as we got ready to go try some aloe vera juice for her current gut issue she's having with her stomach and some inflammation, and I thought, yeah, that might help calm it down. And she happened to see my artwork and, oh, that's cool, I really like it. So I gave it to her and it brightened up her day, and it just felt really good. Even though she's not technically my blood mother, she definitely is someone I care about greatly, and it felt good to put that smile on her face when she was sitting there in the hospital bed, not in a great place. So just do what you can.
Yeah,
there you go, Melissa. I'm glad I could do that for you. Don't forget, for sure. Seemed like there was something else, damn it, right before I got off on Mom. Now it's gone. It'll come back, I'm sure. Oh, it was the patch in the chat. Elena was suggesting I try wearing a patch on my good eye to strengthen my bad eye. It's not that kind of thing. This disease I have, it's called myasthenia gravis. Good luck spelling it. I'll type it in chat for you. It's my autoimmune system attacking the nerves that make the muscles in my body work correctly. And unfortunately, it attacks, for the most part, and more strongly, it attacks the muscles in your head, like the ones that deal with your eyes staying straight, keeping them open, not drooping, not being crossed, your chewing muscles, your swallowing muscles, your breathing muscles. And that's where things get dangerous and you wind up in the hospital. So it definitely is not a fan. It can, it also fatigues your body and makes things tough. And so, yeah, it's not really a lazy eye or a crossing. Technically it is, but it's not the normal, like, muscle issue that would be helped. Now, that being said, there are people who wind up with a patch because the cross-eyedness just doesn't ever go away. They have to keep a patch just to be able to see straight. And then there's also like prism glasses that you can get at some point, and it's a whole thing. But I talked to my neurologist and an eye doctor, and they both said that, yeah, my medicine should be getting things balanced out soon, and we really need to get that all worked out before we start playing around with the actual muscles of my eye, because it can cause more problems than it can help at this point. I have thought about the pinhole, actually, Laura, the pinhole glasses. I have thought about those just for strengthening things in general, I did see the olive oil in the belly button. That's almost a nightly ritual for me, Sketchy, is the olive oil. My olive oil has some extra little ingredients in it, and it's really good. So shout out to Lee. Thank you, brother. I detox pretty regular, Ian. I take a considerable amount of things that work on detoxing my liver and things like that, just because of the amount of crap that I'm having to put in my body that is extra right now. So, but any extra energy you send my way, I know you got that extra power, my friend. So, but yeah, guys, thank you for the concern. That's enough about Walt's issues. I'm good to go. I'm here. I'm better. Even Zack was saying that on the call earlier Wednesday, that I sounded like myself again. And I feel like myself again. So I'm good. I'm good. I have castor oil, Melissa. I do that also in my belly button as well. I also put some around my eyelids and other areas that need. I haven't done the actual patch thing. I know there's a word for it. Patch.
So Walter is drinking castor oil, which is like motor oil. So that's
no, I'm not drinking it. No, I do it as a topical. Not drinking that stuff.
No, it's okay if you do.
No, it's really not good for you. It's a very stimulating thing inside your body. You need to be careful with it. That's why it does the clearing house that it does when you drink it. And my grandma used to give you spoonfuls of it to keep you regular, because it does. It irritates the intestinal system. It's why you go to the restroom so quickly.
What happens if you do it right before a pie eating contest?
I'm sorry, what?
So
That's what my grandmother.
I saw that movie Over the Top.
Great movie.
Remember Over the Top? Ever since I saw that, I've been drinking castor oil like at least 1 quart a week. You know, that guy did it.
What?
Not that bad.
My grandmother used to say the exact same thing about drinking prune juice. And she's like, oh, yeah, it keeps you regular. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Means you poop every day, Andrew.
Yeah. Well, I guess as you get older, it makes more sense. But when you're 14,
yeah,
it doesn't make much sense.
My grandma.
There's Liz in chat. What's up, brother? I mean, what's up, sister? I'm sorry, my brain's fried.
As people get older, they tend to care more about the pooping daily thing. My grandma, like all of her kids, she would ask us all every day, did you do your poopy today? I haven't talked to grandma in a month, right? Talking to her on the phone. First thing she says, did you do your poopy today? Yeah, I don't know what it was. Grandma was always on that. I'm glad there was a good 15-year difference between me and my older cousins. So she had learned by the time she got to me that it's not okay to sit you down with a sandwich and a glass of milk on the toilet to make sure you go poop.
Well, there's probably something to it. When people get older, they start to learn things, and they try to pass that knowledge down to other people. So it might be something we would look into, like prunes.
It's
My
not something.
We're really, really into prunes.
How into prunes are your parents, though?
They're not.
They're not.
Like organic farmer.
So what if it's just kind of a generational thing? What if our grandparents saw something happening in the relationship to our diet and what we're buying at the store, and as we transition away from the food that we used to eat to the food that we're eating now, and regular bowel movements, and they saw that and recognized it, and they want to make sure, well, now something's happening to our guts and to our intestines with the food that we're eating, so we got to make sure that we're still, because we're not, for some reason, we just don't poop 3 times a day the way we used to. For some reason, we don't have these normal, healthy shaped bowel movements that we used to have. Now they're all getting soft and deformed and only happening once a day at best. Something's not right.
Well, yeah, my grandmother told me the house that I'm currently clearing out, and she told me when I lived with her for a short little while when I was going to college, and she said she would never ever buy any processed foods like boxed mashed potatoes. And then she got lazy, and all of a sudden she started doing that. And all of a sudden she started having constipation problems and digestion problems. And I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. Aside from that, no problems. So I was like, oh, that's okay. And she always grew her own food. She was basically Amish. So a lot of people had done that throughout history. And all of a sudden you switch over to these Betty Crocker boxed mashed potatoes or whatever else, and all of a sudden people start having digestion problems because it's not natural.
Well, yeah, well, half the shit you're eating is now some type of preservative or anti-caking this or that, and half of it comes from like the auto industry.
Right.
We keep getting this left over and this waste. Let's see if we can turn it into some kind of food.
Well, yeah, Walt's drinking motor oil, so that kind of makes sense to a certain extent. I'm just making it funny.
It's about time to switch to summer weight, though. So.
But yeah, it does come down to I forget which doctor it is. I forget his name. And he said that if you are eating something that has a nutritional label on it and you can't pronounce the stuff on the label, you shouldn't be eating it.
Does that just mean you should learn to pronounce your words better?
Well, no. It's just...
I'm like, I don't understand. If you've got a good vocabulary, is it okay to eat? Like, oh yeah, you can pronounce those words. You're fine.
Syllables.
You can pronounce apple and you can pronounce monosodium glutamate. So go ahead and shout out.
No.
All right. Well, do you know what sodium glutamate is? I don't.
Well, now is that part of the?
It's salt.
Monosodium glutamate.
I don't know.
Do I have to know what it is, or can I just have to pronounce it?
Yeah, I think knowing's half the battle, Josh. I think that's the one. You know, I used to look at everything, and if it, like, aspartame, when I started boycotting putting that stuff in my body, it was like half the stuff I was eating regularly, I could no longer eat. Couldn't drink milk anymore. There was so much stuff that is just, it has aspartame in it. Crazy, dude, when you start paying attention to the labels and you start seeing all this shit. Now they get fancy with it and they change the words. So it is aspartame, but they got it different, you know. They mimicked or messed with the molecular structure of it a little bit so they can name it something different. And then,
it's just ridiculous that you have to frickin' hunt for a mint or a gum or something that would, you know, help with your breath or your right after you eat or whatever. You have to hunt for something that doesn't have some kind of horrible chemical that, you know, used to just be sugar. Oh, it's terrible too. Yeah, it is, but it's not as bad as like acetylene, potassium, or phenylketones or whatever. You know, it's whatever. I'd rather have sugar every day.
But you can pronounce it.
By the way, I did figure out the answer. I misspoke. So this is from Dr. Thomas Cowan, and I misspoke on that. And that is, if it has a nutritional label, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Basically meaning slaughter your own animals and grow your own vegetables, kind of thing. He's not promoting veganism or anything else, but it kind of makes sense if you think about it. A lot of people throughout history have been doing that, and they're quite healthy. So that's Dr. Thomas
the Amish. They don't have autistic children.
It doesn't exist.
I don't know.
Have
you met some of these Amish kids?
So I see. Sorry.
I've seen some crazy Amish videos.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure
not sure
Amish
if
kids
they're
aren't
actually-
autistic, for the record.
Yeah, no, but the levels when they do the testing and all that are much lower than 1 out of 20 or whatever it is now here in the States.
Hey,
So
I want to say this flat out.
Shout out Damascus Eternal Eye there in chat. Good to see you, brother.
No kidding. I was just thinking
Amish
about
chicks are pretty hot. They're all natural, and they're fit. So I'm just going to say that. And I've
Comments of Andrew Baker did not necessarily reflect the.
I have actually said that flat out. Andrew Baker, yeah, Amish chicks are pretty hot. They're fit.
Okay, so before we get too deep in the Amish chicks,
Yeah. Okay.
I did see. I think it was on. Let me go back up because it got too far away. No, it was not Ona. It was Laura. Just said parsley in chat. So years ago, and I'm talking like early 90s when I first got into juicing because late night TV. And so Jack LaLanne, for those of you who are under 50, was this fitness health expert in the late 40s and 50s and stuff, 60s. He was this like health guy, really fit. He really was talking about ways to eat that weren't processed foods and all that. And his thing was juicing, like you get all the good stuff out of the fruit that you want to get without having to have all that extra bulk. Because to get the goodies out of fruit, you have to eat and drink and all that so much. You have to get too much pulp and sugar and all that. So just get the good part, the juice, go to town. And his thing was parsley. Add at least a sprig of parsley to every juice you make because it is the best cleanser for your internal systems there is. Be careful though, because it's also one that will make you go to the restroom very quickly if you overdo it. So if you're juicing and you're using parsley, do so with caution. But me and Jack LaLanne say go for it. It's pretty good. Now, that being said, I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on the Ironworks.
But Jack LaLanne died at 97 years old, for what it's worth.
He did.
That's a big accomplishment. 97. So this is out of the marijuana moment. I wanted to get to this before the end of the show. They're talking about breathalyzers for cannabis use and how they want to have an actual candid discussion about this with people because they're finding they can't do it. Not, effectively. There is no field test to determine whether someone is under the influence of marijuana. They're trying these breathalyzer machines, but they're finding out that, the results are very inaccurate. And most recently, a researcher is saying that a person's THC levels aren't a reliable indicator of how impaired they are. It's just not. They're finding people that have, much higher THC levels than others, but are functioning perfectly fine compared to those at lower levels that are impaired. So how do you do that? How do you, it's really the same thing with alcohol. You have somebody who drinks constantly every day and never gets below a 0.08, functioning alcoholics. There's a lot of them out there. So, yeah, how would you do this? How would you even... I don't know. They're having a real issue trying to get this whole "are you impaired on cannabis? Too much to operate a vehicle" type of thing.
Well, wouldn't it be the same as like a fucking whatever it is, get on the side of the road and touch your nose and stand on one foot and do the alphabet backwards, skipping all the skipping all the what's those things? Vowels. Good Lord, my brain. Yeah. Anybody?
Field sobriety tests.
Anybody? No, speaking the alphabet backwards, skipping all the vowels. No.
Field sobriety tests.
I don't know that one, Walter.
It's a great movie. It's called Tapeheads. If you've never seen Tapeheads, John Cusack, Tim Robbins, they were about 12 years old each. And it's a fucking great movie, directed by Michael Nesmith, one of the monkeys. It's a fucking great movie. Tapeheads. Highly recommended.
I'm going to have to go find it.
And real quick, yes, I'm at Damascus, Louisiana sucks. And there was something else in chat. Real quick, what was it? Damn it. Yes, Kyle Adams. Years ago, I did a cable access show on local cable where we talked with people about all the same kind of stuff, just about except flat earth. And one of our guests was talking about how nurses would take mothers' breast milk that had been frozen for the babies in their ward and microwave it to warm it up for the babies. And the babies were becoming malnourished by that. And that began a big push to stop using microwaves in that situation. And eventually lots of other countries banned microwave usage, and they're really terrible devices. All they do is change the structure of water to be something, and liquids in the stuff to where it's bad for you. I haven't had a microwave food process that I did on myself. Now, they may have done it to me in a restaurant and me not know it, but in my house, food doesn't get cooked in a microwave. It hasn't for 20 plus years. All right, we're almost out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Andrew, for your teas. Always. No, I love you, brother. Thank you for hanging out with us. Liz, give my Squatch sis a big hug for me later today when you see her.
Big one from all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully Liz pops in afterward because I have some questions.
Teasing to the end, Andrew. Teasing to the end. But thanks everybody for hanging out.
No, Jack won't let her in the call. She said Jack is being a jerk and won't invite her in.
You know how he is. You gotta watch that fucking dude, man.
I don't let anybody in. I don't know how the hell Andrew got in here.
He's crafty. Love y'all.
Love you guys. We will see you back here on Monday morning for more of the Ironworks. There's a good possibility in the very near future we will be having Carol with a K on to discuss her little shindig she got going on out there in the Southwest.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm going to maybe try to get up a couple logos for her and do some media stuff. Just as a way to say thanks for all the hard work she put in Flattoberfest. But that's for another time anyway. We'll get out of here. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Be good. Be well. Do good. Do it well. We love you.